Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this press conference with Dean Elgar. I would like to just remind everyone to please put your request to ask a question on the chat panel, please. We don't recognize raised hands. Please put your request to ask a question on the chat panel, and please to ensure that your monitors are muted the entire time. Just so that we can have really good sound quality. Is there anybody who would like to start us off? Thank you, Stuart.
Hello, Dean. I was just wondering, there's been so much, I guess, bad news around South African cricket in the last couple of days, and then you have another blow within the team this morning. As captain, how are you managing all of these things and the questions that a lot of players must have? Has it been a tough couple of days for you?
Hi, Stu. No, it hasn't really been too tough for us. I think as a players group, we've kind of gotten used to some bad news around us the last year and a half. So I think as a players group, we kind of adapt to it accordingly. It's not ideal, obviously, to have these headlines coming up. We just want to focus on our cricket. We want to focus on playing a really tough series against India. It's great to have them here in South Africa again. But yeah, I think as a players group, we're kind of used to it. That's no excuse to have those kind of headlines though. So yeah, for us, it's all about focusing on cricket, focusing on our next few days of preparation. And kind of nail down our cricketing skill. So yeah.
For those followed by Disetso.
Hi, Dean. At least you're not in a 16-hour power cut like we are here in Cape Town. But I just want to ask you, with Anrich Nokia being injured and obviously Lungi hasn't played for quite a few months, how ready is your attack and what combination are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's not ideal with the last COVID scares that we've had and a few players being maybe set back with injury or being rested. It's not ideal that they haven't had a lot of playing time, but be as it may, it is what it is. And we've had 3 very good days so far in Joburg with regards to preparation. I think mentally is another side of the game that we need to tap into a little bit. Playing time is one thing, but also being mentally ready is extremely important for me. But yeah, it's been there's been a few setbacks, but you know, we're a professional outfit. We play in professional cricket and we're going to play against the best team in the world, and we have no excuses to leave a stone unturned. So yeah, we've put everything in place so far that our players can best prepare and get themselves match ready. We try to simulate a game the last 3 days, which has been pretty productive for the guys, and it's all about building their intensity as well. I know we've got to be mindful with regards to bowlers' workloads because they haven't had a lot of game time, but we're very mindful of that. But again, we need to crack on as a team. We can't let those setbacks keep us behind and not prepare ourselves best for what's going to be a really good series against India.
Disetso, then Kat and Ken, and then Amitala. Disetso?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to Dean. Dean, with that said, what kind of conditions are you expecting at Centurion?
I hope the rain stays away. There's been quite a lot of rain of late here in Gauteng. So I hope that stays away so we can get 5 days of good cricket in Centurion. Centurion has been providing pretty good wickets of late, so I think we're going to have a pretty good cricket wickets in Centurion. It's always been a pretty good place. If you apply yourself as a batsman, you're going to get results, and you're going to more times than none get some runs under your belt. But also it's also a wicket with ball in hand. You can always exploit the conditions if you've got a little bit of extra pace and bounce. So yeah, it's going to be, I'm hoping for a very good cricket wicket. That's at least been the message that's been sent out to the groundsman to prepare a pretty good cricket wicket.
Captain, this is Venkat here. Just like to know, given the fast bowling resources you have in the lineup, what kind of pitches do we expect through the series? Because last time you guys played in a very spicy track in South Africa. Can we expect a similar one this time too?
There's always a little bit of spice in South African wickets, especially in the high felt. I wouldn't see it changing too much. But just to touch on the previous question, I'll answer that. And again, if you apply yourself as a batter, if you nail down your skills and your disciplines, and you kind of put away, score a few scoring shots, you can really score runs in Centurion. Again, with ball in hand, you can exploit the conditions if you got a bit of pace and bounce, and if you got some skill, and be a little bit patient from a bowling point of view. So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be what we're going to be up against.
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Dean. Compliments of the season to you. Just touching on Venkat's question, the last time India were here, you were one of only 2 batsmen to average over 40, Virat Kohli being the other one. You're now the captain, but the batting lineup has also lost Hashim, AB, Faf. Is this added pressure on you, or are you really feeling the responsibility that you're going to have to lead the way again with the bat?
I think naturally, Ken, I always want to do that. It doesn't matter who I've had in my team or which teammates I've had in the past. I've always wanted to be someone who leads from the front with the bat. So I know scoring runs is a massive role for me within the side, let alone being the captain and the leader of the team. Making those decisions are also extremely important. But scoring runs for me is quite a big percentage of my job still within the side. I'm never going to run away from that responsibility. I think it's something that maybe works in my favor, and hopefully I can continue. Hopefully I can average a little bit more in this series against India.
Hi, Dean. I just want to ask about we had a great series last time in 2018 when against our Indian bowling attack, strong bowling attack, your batting lineup. We had a great series. This time, how do you are looking at that contest, especially with your batting lacking the experience of a Fab du Plessis and others? Your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's something that we know as a unit, that we have a pretty young and inexperienced batting lineup. But for me, it's an opportunity-based batting lineup. Guys are going to get opportunities, and they need to best prepare, obviously, before that the encounters against the Indian bowling attack, and they need to take their opportunities. I think professional cricket is about taking your opportunities and making a position your own. And it's going to be a message that I've been sending through for the last few months, that opportunities are there. Guys need to obviously make those positions their own. And if they don't, there'll be other guys knocking on the door. We have had a lot of other guys knocking on the door, and yeah, it's definitely not a foreign area or territory that we've been experiencing. I think there's still a lot of recruitment, no doubt. And I don't think we're far away from actually having a few of those batters come in and cement their positions. But it's always going to be tough playing against the best side in the world. They've got a very good bowling lineup, and we're aware of that. And yeah, I think opportunities is the one word that screams out to me, which obviously I'm sure our other batters are pretty much aware of that as well.
Taufik, Karthik, and then Ashish.
How's it doing? We've heard how tough it's been in South African cricket for a lot of this press conference, and we've also seen you smiling through those questions. You know, is this, and we've seen over the years you in some really tough battles on the field. Do you think these kind of scenarios, when life isn't altogether rosy, is that, you know, it kind of plays into your corner and almost suits the way you want to do things? Would you agree with that?
Not necessarily, Taufik. I think you always try and implement a game plan with these kind of things, and I think you got to be quite sincere, and you got to trust that kind of game plan. What happens off the field for me is irrelevant now. I mean, us as a players unit, as mentioned in the first questions, we've been through such crappy times that we've actually formulated such a good bond within our group, and for me, it's not an excuse for us to use. If it happened if we were in the first month of all these bad kind of scenarios, then maybe it might be that. But we've been there, and I think we've maybe formulated something that works for us. And again, I refer to us as a players group. We're extremely strong. Our culture has been tested and pushed to levels that I didn't think it would be pushed to in my short term of being captain. And I think we've come out on top of it. And it's all about still the learning processes behind that. We must always still be mindful that even though if things are bad off the field, we can't use that as a cop-out for us. We're a professional team, we're professional players. We want to strive to areas still with regards to where we want to go as a team. We still want to go up the ranking system still. And that's our process going forward. We focus on cricket and hopefully cricket will look after us.
Yeah. Hi, Dean. So a couple of years ago, you came to India, and one of the surprising things from that series was how much the Indian fast bowlers outbowled the South African fast bowlers there. So having been through that experience, like, what do you expect from India's fast bowlers on this tour, and how has your preparation for that challenge been?
Yeah, I think the Indian lineup has been immensely improved bowling lineup, especially playing away from home as well. As mentioned earlier, we're very mindful of that we're going to be up against it, against the bowling attack, which is perfectly okay for us. Yeah, being in South Africa, I'd like to think we're a lot more feel a lot more accustomed at home in our conditions. And hopefully we can use that as an advantage for us. So yeah, we know that it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Indian batters to face our bowlers as well. And I'd rather be sitting here knowing that than possibly sitting in the Indian dressing room knowing that they have to face our bowlers.
Hi, Dean. I just wanted to ask, Ravichandran Ashwin is someone who has had success against you guys, be it on the Indian wickets. How important do you think it would be to be proactive against him and not let him settle at the crease?
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of success in South Africa, which is okay for us. We can't really compare the success he's had in India against our batters because the conditions are so dissimilar that yeah, that's not really realistic for us to focus on that. I think we got to focus on our game plans, which we've obviously been working on hard. Each player has been working hard at his individual game plans. I think it's difficult to focus on one player in their side. They're a good side all round, and I think they're ticking all the boxes with regards to covering their bases from a bowling front. So yeah, it's difficult. He's a quality spinner, one of the best off spinners India's ever produced. And we're mindful of that. It's always a good challenge facing those guys, and you want to compete and compare yourself against those best players in the world. So yeah, I think it's a little bit difficult just to focus on the one guy.
Up next is Aditya, Percy, Sipo, Fidos, and then we'll finish with Indrajit, and then that's it.
Then my words are finished.
Yeah, how's it, Dean? At the end of the West Indies series, you said that you used the period between the West Indies series and India to sort of develop a tempo test cricket. So how has your preparation been in that period of time when most of the team was playing white ball cricket?
Well, I think it's obviously been a time for me to reflect. There's been a lot of time since June, July when we played last. So I have had a lot of time to sit down and reflect and work on areas where I think we need a bit of development. And I mean, I'm not going to allude to that now because that's speaking out of the change room. So yeah, there's from my point of view, my capacity as captain, I've definitely worked. I've worked and had a lot of time to think about that. I know a lot of the current players haven't had a lot of four-day cricket or test cricket under their belt. They've been playing a lot of white ball cricket. So yeah, it's just about me sending a strong message to the guys, and the guys will obviously respond to the message that I kind of want to bring forward.
Percy?
Thank you so much, Vikazi. Good afternoon, Dean. Can I just ask you, I'm assuming the expectation was that initially you guys were going to play in front of your home crowd for this series, though. So is that a bit of a setback for you guys not having that strong support this time around and another December or Boxing Day test series?
It is quite disappointing if I'm being brutally honest. I think as South African players, we are deprived of playing in front of a crowd. Yeah, it's very frustrating knowing that we're not going to have people watching us, and I think it's pretty frustrating for South African public as well. Yeah, pretty disappointed that we can't showcase our great format that we have in Test cricket in front of pretty passionate supporters, even though it will only would have been 2,000 people. It's still better than nothing. So yeah, pretty disappointed that we're not going to have crowds.
Afternoon, Dean. Just a question on how the team has received Juan Olivier's selection into the test team, his comeback. How has the team received him? And how have you as a captain received him?
Yeah, I'll start with the first part. The team's responded very well towards him. I think he's played with quite a lot of the guys before in the past, and he's had a lot of the Lions teammates now in the last few domestic competitions that we've played. So yeah, I think his response, or the players have responded pretty well to him being back. To answer my part, I want our best opportunity to win matches and win series. And I think in order for that, you need to make tough calls on bringing people back, for instance. And I was someone who was very keen to have him back. Can you turn your, thank you. So I'm pretty happy to have him back, pretty excited to have him back in our mix, knowing that what he can do on the field. I mean, there's no bad feelings about what's happened in the past. I want to win cricket matches for South Africa. I want to win series for South Africa. And I'm pretty sure I've got 100% backing when it comes to that in our change room. So yeah, it's nice to have him back. He adds a little bit of a different intensity, a little bit of a different energy. You can see he's a different cricketer to what he was the first time he played for us, which is awesome for us. So obviously his trip away from South Africa, he's learned a lot of experience. He's played a lot of cricket in the UK. So he's bringing a lot of knowledge and experience back into the change room, which is something that we need at the moment. Yeah, he's a match winner, which is something I'm very, very aware of. And if he can win cricket matches for us, then I'm all for having him back.
Dean, I don't mean to sound like a negative Nancy, but you've been speaking a little bit about how tough things have been. And I just want to know from the player's perspective, what has actually been the toughest thing?
You asked me, so I'll answer.
Yeah. From the player's perspective, what has been the toughest thing about the last 2 years?
It's a tough one. We've had so many different administrators that we don't even know who's there now. I think maybe backing has been something that's been pretty tough, especially backing with regards to our coaches and our team management. I don't think we've received a lot of good stuff around that. And I think from a player's point of view, we maybe have to say, you know what, we back our coaches, we back our management, we need to give them a lot of love. I think sometimes they put in so much work, it gets unnoticed and it gets watered down by media and it gets watered down by articles. And I think that's the biggest thing, because I know what they do behind the scenes. And for me, that speaks volumes when it comes to our environment. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is that we haven't had a lot of stability from an administrative point of view, and hopefully sooner than later there's a lot more stability that comes within Cricket South Africa. But yeah, it's not nice to see our coaches get lambasted for things, and I know the work they're putting in behind the scenes, which no one else sees. Only us as a players group, we notice that and we see that, and we're extremely grateful for the hard work that they put in. So yeah, I'd say that's one of the biggest downsides of what's been happening in the last while.
Yeah. Hi, Dean. Jasprit Bumrah has been a threat in the foreign conditions. So how are you guys prepared to face him, and do you feel that he can be a threat in the South African conditions?
Yeah, he's a world-class bowler. I mean, I think if there's one bowler that could exploit South African conditions pretty well, it would be him. But again, we can't focus on one guy. It's the same question to Ashwin. I'm not going to sit here and focus on one or two players. I think India as a whole are pretty good side. They've been a pretty good side for the last, say, 2 to 3 years, and they've toured very well of late. So I'm not gonna focus on one player. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Please take note of the media schedule that has been released in that media advisory. We'll see you guys soon. Keep well.
Thanks, Sips. Thanks, Dean.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.